Hey, what's going on everyone? So I purpled Amidatelion. If you're interested in this Uke who can delete enemy turns and buff slots, stick around and find out. Amidatelion, who I will be calling Ami through the rest of the video, is an offensive support who focuses on debuffing and enemy turn control. They offer up to 4 frame debuffs and supplies primarily regen auras and a good amount of party battery. Their skill 1 is Comet, which does 6 single target hits, can overflow to 150%, and has 50% splash damage. It deals increased damage to debuff targets and grants Ami Uke's Hope, which is their unique buff that raises attack, max bravery, and has a party brave regen aura. While active, Ami gains enhanced basic attacks. Brave Plus does 50% gravity effect and further raises Ami's bravery by initial bravery, while HP Plus does 25% gravity, also raises by initial bravery, and batteries allies by 20% of the HP damage dealt. Comet also applies turn rate down Tribe of Wisdom, a frame debuff that, as you guessed, decreases enemy turn rate for their actions. All of Ami's debuffs end with Tribe of Wisdom, so I'll be omitting it in all future debuffs. Their skill 2 is Mega Flare, a 6-hit group attack that deals split damage to all targets and can overflow to 180%, with the targeted enemy losing their next turn. However, its current primed action will be held until whenever their next turn becomes. It'll also apply 2 more frame debuffs, this time for defense down and speed down, and will also deal more brave damage to debuff targets. Their EX is Ukish Ultima. At base, a 5-hit group attack that deals total damage to all targets and will refund 20% of the total HP damage done back to Ami. Like their base kit, the damage is increased when attacking a debuff target, but interestingly, so is its attack's overflow limit, starting at 5% for 1 debuff and going up to 50% at 6 debuffs. Ami's EX plus limit breaks aren't anything too crazy, but they do help out with all the damage they can put out. Realization improves the EX cast with more potency and giving it base overflow, meaning without any outside sources, the cast gains 170% overflow that deals total damage, very helpful in a group. 1 ingot raises max bravery by 40% and attack by 50%, appreciated by Ami's entire kit. 2 ingots grant Ami their main starting buff as well as instantly applying Ami's core kit debuffs, turn rate down, defense down, and speed down, to all enemies at the start of the wave. 3 ingots further improves the EX cast. 3 more hits, even more potency, and further increasing the base overflow to 150%, meaning at max debuffs without side sources, Ami can hit that wonderful 200% overflow. It also improves their basic attacks even more. Brave 2 Plus reduces by 75% with more increase based on initial bravery, while HP 2 Plus reduces by 50%, has a higher increase, has gained bravery overflow, and ups the party battery to 50% of damage dealt. Ami's LD of Crystal Idol is probably the most eye-catching thing of their kit and is certainly one of the reasons they've been hyped up so much. The cast itself does 100% brave reduction to all enemies, batteries the party by 80% of Ami's max bravery, can overflow to 150%, deals total damage to all enemies, and deletes the next turn of all enemies. It applies a 4th frame debuff, this one for initial bravery, and grants Ami Resurrection, a secondary frame buff that has a regen and initial bravery aura as well as an overflow increase aura. Resurrection has 3 stacking levels, which works out great since Crystal Idol ends up with 3 usages once you have the whole passive. The passive itself also raises party attack by 30%. Ami is certainly fascinating, for lack of a better term. Brave reduction on both enhanced basic attacks, frame debuffs, regen auras, and turn deletion. Amidatelion is certainly good, but is not easy to categorize or compare to. They offer no true offensive buffs outside of the LD attack aura, but can offer a fair amount of regen stacking and battery. And they don't have healing either, but they can remove enemy threats in a different way. Ami does have many hits on their offensive skills, but outside of Comet, everything else is a group attack, and the LD cast doesn't even function off of attack. And their enhanced basic attacks don't scale off of attack either. Ami is definitely better treated as the secondary support alongside a proper support and a damage unit, being a true dedicated damage unit or an offensive tank. Ami, in my opinion, doesn't really need to be bolstered by attack, whereas initial bravery improves regen and bravery increase on enhanced basic attacks, while max bravery improves battery and decreases potential leakage. Until the next tier of high armors arrive, Ami is hard capped by the current brave ceiling. So in a proper party with decent auras and against multiple enemies, they're not going to be having many issues hitting high numbers with the EX or even with Mega Flare. As the first new character arriving with an LD, this means in the future they're going to be getting an LD extension and possibly a rework. In terms of her rework, I honestly don't see a lot being needed, since Ami's turn deletion gimmick as a whole is so powerful. If anything, maybe something like another hit or two and some Brave return, but really not a lot is needed for them. As for an LD extension, I feel like Ami isn't going to get a very strong one. I can imagine getting Resurrection from the start of the fight, as well as instantly applying the initial Brave debuff onto enemies like the rest of the debuffs. But besides that, Ami's longevity has taken them all the way through the rest of what is Dimension's End entropy if built around properly. While Ami's offensive power may fall off, you can't deny the strength of all the battery and regen they provide, as well as the sheer power of deleting turns. So yeah, that's Purple Amidatelion. Overall, a very unique support with a moveset that, in my opinion, cannot be power crept because their strengths do not lie in their actual offensive capability, but rather all their utility. In a game where units who focus on dealing damage can be replaced just about every month, and supports work around them, Ami is in a way evergreen. Sure, they do attacks, but their strongest benefit is not their attack damage, but all the team utility they provide, and the majority of their attacks either don't scale off attack damage or target all enemies, naturally making those attacks a bit more effective. Absolutely a strong character to max out now and be usable through fights for the months to come. If you like this video and want to see more like it and other Assorted Opera Omnia content, be sure to stick around and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again.